Are we seeing the death of shame or the rise of shamelessness in American culture? Actually, that's the wrong question because it accepts the wrong assumption. It assumes we used to feel shame and are now shameless, when in fact the only thing that has changed is what we've decided to be ashamed of. If we're honest, and I hope we are, we must admit there are many things we used to overlook that now bring us shame. Things we accepted, perhaps even boasted about, that now embarrass us. The better question then is, why do we feel shame about anything? Is it because of how we look to our fellow human beings? Is it because of how we make our close associates look to others? Or is it because of whom we sin against in the first place? Today's Morning Minutes in the Bible on Throwback Thursday goes back almost 40 years to examine that question with an article called The Embarrassed Church by Robert F. Turner. This is from Plain Talk Magazine, July 1983. A young lady came forward and told the preacher she had embarrassed the church and wished to make it right. He dutifully reported this to the congregation, a prayer was offered in her behalf, and everyone seemed happy. Others might say they brought reproach upon the church or have not been faithful to the church. In one sense, the church, or called out saints, represent the cause of Christ, and misconduct on the part of professed saints makes it more difficult to promote that cause. But is that our concern and emphasis? A subtle change in emphasis may take place. Our personal or corporate reputation may be at stake. Are we more interested in preserving our image than in correcting sins against Christ? Why did we not say, I have sinned against heaven, Luke 15:21? David said, I have sinned against Jehovah, 2 Samuel 12, verse 13. And Nathan said he had given great occasion to the enemies of Jehovah to blaspheme, verse 14. God has been reproached, not man. Or when Simon had sinned in Acts 8, verses 18 through 24, Peter seemed more concerned with Simon's lost condition than with the reputation of the saints. Is this our concern? Have you noticed the difference in treatment of the little-known sinner and one from a prominent family? In well-known but non-sensational sin, and one that made headlines, especially if the church was mentioned. In such cases, each member must examine his conscience, make a sincere effort to put the cause of Christ and salvation of a lost soul before personal or corporate pride. True saints are converted to Jesus Christ, being baptized into Christ, striving to be faithful to Christ. If they ignore the command to assemble, they ignore Christ's command, 1 Corinthians 11:23 and following. Fornicators and adulterers break their marriage vow to God, James 4:4 and 1 Corinthians 6:15 and following. When our miserly contribution lies about our prosperity, we lie to God, Acts 5 verses 3 and 4. Certainly we have failed our brethren with whom we have covenanted and who depend upon us to do our part, but it is a sin against Christ whom we must meet in final judgment, not an embarrassed church. Once again, Robert is right. The reason David was ashamed of his sin was not the embarrassment it brought to him and Israel, but that he had offended God. Our sense of shame must be God-shaped, but too often it is culture-shaped. American culture hasn't lost its sense of shame, nor has it become shameless. It has merely changed the list of things that it considers shameful. It is a huge mistake for Christians to focus on current cultural changes and forget that God is the standard. He always was, is now, and always will be the one who defines what is and is not shameful. We should be embarrassed by all the cultural sins we overlooked in the past because we were tuned into culture instead of God. Thank you for watching Morning Minutes in the Bible on Throwback Thursday. Until next time, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.